Okay, hello redesigners. It's Thursday at noon EST and I'm Cece from Cece Restyled, and today we're going to be playing with chalk paste and icing paste, but we're going to do something a little bit different. Instead of on furniture or a wood board, we're going to do it on some upholstery fabric, and I will show you how you can kind of dress up or bling out your upholstery fabric, make it a little more custom, a little different, a little extra with either chalk paste or icing paste. It's super easy too, super duper easy. So I've got a couple different fabrics here. I've got a velvet, okay, because velvet is life. I've got stripes, because stripes are also life. I've got more stripes, because life. So maybe we'll do up a couple of those. I've also got some large stencils. You can use any kind of stencil. You can use a reusable stencil. You can cut, a custom stencil. I'm using Redesign with Prima large stencils. This is one of my favorites. I don't remember what this one is called. Unfortunately, these large stencils are being discontinued, so get them while you can. Get them while they're hot, because you might not be able to get them again. But this is one of my favorites. Isn't it pretty? And I got a couple other ones, but you want a nice large stencil for the most part. You can use a smaller stencil and just repeat the pattern, but I kind of like to work quick, so get a big stencil, one and done. So I'll show you the seat that I'm going to be making, mine for. So, most seats are just about this big, so you just want to cut a piece of fabric that's a couple inches bigger than, your cushion, so you can wrap it underneath and staple it and all that fun stuff. So I've already got mine kind of measured out. I went a little big, but they're measured out. So let's go ahead and start with the stripes, the black and gray stripes, because why not? They're pretty. So let me tilt you down here. If you're hopping on, just say hello if you want. Hi everybody. I'll answer questions as I see them, if I see any. If not, I'll try to go back later and check and see if I missed any. But we're going to go ahead and take our fabric. Okay, so this is our seat fabric. And I'm going to go ahead and tape it down because the fabric is not rigid like, a dresser or a drawer front or something like that. It's not rigid. So it'll scoot around on you. So you want to tape it down. I'm just using regular painter's tape, which is not, it's not the most bestest on fabric, but it'll work. We just want to kind of keep it still, keep it from shifting around on you, because if it shifts around on you, you're going to get not a nice clear stencil. And who likes a fuzzy stencil? Not me, not I, not this gal. So we're just going to tape, I probably just tape 3 sides for now. And then let's see, which stencil do I want to use on my stripes? Let's go with this one. This one is called, I think this one's called Diamond Grunge. This is actually a large 3D stencil from Redesign with Prima. So the 3D stencil is different from a regular stencil because it's a little bit thicker of a material. And the reason for that is when you scrape your medium over it, obviously the thicker the stencil, the thicker of a impression you're going to get. So hence the 3D. So I taped down my fabric. I'm going to go ahead and tape down my stencil as well. I want everything to be nice and secure. I don't want it scooting around on me. Okay, and so let's go ahead and tape those down. So I told you we're going to be using chalk paste and icing paste. And one thing I should probably tell you, if you are gonna if you have stripes or a pattern on your stencil that needs to be lined up, you want to make sure you get it nice and straight, because if you kind of turn it like that, it's going to look a little silly. So I'm taking one of my stripes, I'm just picking a random stripe from my fabric, and I'm lining it up with the little, kind of center of my stencil, which, as you can see, the little points on these little shapes here is pretty much the center. So I want to make sure I get that nice and lined up, as well as I can anyways. You can measure it if you, that kind of person, but I'm not. So here we go. Tape down my stencil. And I told you we're going to be using chalk paste and icing paste. to make our little decorative pattern on our fabric. And once it's dry, we're going to use it on a chair, a vanity seat, stool, whatever they're called, stool. You can do dining chairs. You can do anything that's upholstered, pillows, placemats, napkins, whatever. And it is washable. I mean, I would wash it on, say, like if it's, obviously if it's on a seat, you're not going to throw it in the washing machine, but, damp cloth, mild detergent. I would do what is it? Obviously I don't do a whole lot of laundry. What's it called? Gentle cycle? I would do the gentle or delicate cycle, yes, if you were washing, like, say, a napkin or something. But you can wash it. The chalk paste dries a little bit more matte. It's these matte colors. Okay, this is the chalk paste. Comes in a lot of colors, dries matte, dries permanent, and comes, it's just like this kind of puddingy, chalky consistency. It's almost like a super duper thick chalk paint. Smells really good, I'm not gonna lie. It smells like flowers. And then the icing paste is a little bit different. It is metallic. It also comes in a variety of colors. And they dry kind of shiny, glossy. So the chalk paste dries matte. The icing paste is metallic and dries glossy, okay? So that's the main differences. They're used for pretty much the same things. You can use a variety of different tools to apply your paste to the stencil. I got a spatula, I've got, a palette knife, and then it's called a spread pal. Comes in a pack of two, a biggie and a littlie, from Redesign with Prima. Obviously you can see they're flexible, they clean really easy. If you don't wash them off right away, you just kind of peel off the, what's dried up on there. Super easy. That's kind of my preferred method. But yeah, little spread pal. You could use a trowel, credit card, knife, whatever. Fingers, if you really wanted to. I'm not going to do that, but so we're going to go ahead and let's do some gold icing paste on our stripes. I think gold on the black and gray stripes would look really cool. So the icing paste, like I said, it dries to almost a plasticky kind of feeling finish. It is, let's see. It dries also, like, you can already see it's metallic, but when it dries, it's even more sparkly. So I'm just going to start up in the corner, I guess, and start scraping it on. You want to be kind of careful so you don't squeeze the product underneath your stencil. And, you want to try to get a crisp, nice, clean stenciling if you can. So we're gently kind of just scraping it over our stencil to get it down in the little openings. And you can go thick or you can go thin. I would recommend, if you're doing a seat cover or something like that, like I'm doing, I'd probably go a little thin. You don't want those pokey parts that poke anybody in the butt when they sit on your seat. If you do have pokey parts sticking up that you don't want, you can sand it down with some sandpaper, like a fine or medium grit sanding block. Just sand off those little peaks that, might be sharp. But I'm thinking unless you got a lot of naked visitors, you're going to be okay, Like, if you got pants on, I think sitting on this is not really going to affect you. So, let me open. I got to open one more here. One more. So that's the package, icing paste. So, I explained to you the main differences between the icing paste and the chalk paste. They're both from Prima Marketing, but the icing paste is from the Finnabair line, which is just another line that they carry, sort of like Redesign is its own line. So, Redesign makes the chalk paste, or labeled on the chalk paste, and icing paste is Finnabair. So same company, different line. All right, so I love this stuff. All right, so let's go ahead and finish scraping on our gold and trying to be fairly gentle so I don't squeeze all that product underneath my my stencil, and just want to cover it as much as I need. I when I stencil, I like to do kind of like an aged or distressed kind of look. So I don't usually fill in all the little holes. I just kind of go over it a little rough. I don't make sure that I'm very meticulous about filling in all the holes, and I kind of like that look. For this, I may actually just, you know, change my motto on that a little bit. I might fill them all in, but generally on a piece of furniture or something, I am going for more of a aged or distressed stencil, but that's up to you. You can do either or. I'm going to fill in all my little openings here, I think. At least all the ones I think that will go on top of the stool or seat or chair or whatever. Okay, so let's go ahead and I'm going to do one more little row here. Okay, so I'm going to go down here so I can lift it up and show you what that's going to look like. I will do one more real quick with chalk paste so you can see the difference. And then I'll show you real quick what it looks like when it's done and dried, and we can fold it over the seat cushion and see what it looks like on our stool. Okay, right, let me just get this little line down here. Scoop, 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 scoop. Go. All right, let's go ahead and, okay, I'm going to give it one little scoop over. I want it to be fairly thin, not so thin that you can see through it to the fabric, but I want it to be thin enough to, like I said, it's not, you know, super raised and poking people in the butt while they're sitting in a dining chair in your dining room, you know what I mean? All right, so I'll go ahead and wipe off my little spread pal so we can reuse it. Okay, so now that, let's just pretend like we have our whole entire upholstery fabric covered, okay? So we just pretend that it's all the way covered. Okay, and I like to pull up my stencil while it's still wet. With the icing paste, I definitely would pull it up while it's wet, because otherwise it gets hardened and you don't want to have to like force it off of your fabric. So I'm going to hold my fabric down so it doesn't come up with my stencil. And I'm going to try to just kind of separate it very gently so that I don't, you know, screw up my nice, crisp, clean edges. Yee. Okay, so there's that. Okay, so there is our, let me scooch it down here a little bit. So there is our, hey everybody. There's our stripes with the gold icing paste, okay? So I would let that dry, okay? And then you can use it for, you know, to cover your chair cushion or as your placemat or guest hand towel or whatever kind of fabric you are chalk pasting or icing pasting. All right, I'm going to do one more quick little demo with the chalk paste so you can see the difference. See how pretty and sparkly that is? As the icing paste dries, it gets even more sparkly, less matte, more sparkly. So I'm pretty excited to see this when it's all dry. But I'm going to go ahead and move it. I wouldn't suggest moving it until you're done, but since I need this little area for my next demo of the chalk paste, I'm going to move it. Isn't this so pretty? Oh, it's so pretty. Oh gosh, I messed it up. Okay, no I didn't. Where am I going to put this? Put it right there. Oh, there we go. Good spot. Okay, so for our next, there we go. Okay, so next we're going to do my favorite stencil. We're going to try my favorite stencil. I'm sorry, there's no name on this one, and I don't know the name of it. Something damask, I'm sure. So let's go ahead and open this bad boy. Now we're going to put down our next piece of upholstery fabric that we're going to demo with the chalk paste. I think I'm going to go ahead and do the velvet. Let's do the purple velvet, okay? We'll do the purple velvet with this unnamed or unknown name stencil. Again, you can use any large stencil. You can even use a small stencil. You just have to repeat your impressions until you get your pattern. I'm not going to say I'm lazy. I'm going to say I'm efficient, and I'm just going to choose to use a large stencil instead. Boom, done. All right, so I'm going to tape down my tape down my velvet. I love me some velvet. Tape it down. And we want it to stay in place. You want to, make sure you get all the wrinkles out. You don't want wrinkles in your, fabric before you stencil it. That's kind of silly. That would be super silly. All right, so I'm going to tape down these other two sides. You know what stencils really well with the chalk paste is, what's it called? Linen. Linen, like linen napkins or placemats or linen table runners. Linen looks and works really well with the chalk paste and stencil. So just some ideas. The holidays are coming up. It would be real cute to get some holiday colored icing paste or chalk paste, and maybe some little evergreen or holly berry stencils, and maybe some like holiday placemats or holiday napkins or whatever. That'd be super cute. Original, If you have a booth or a store, you could sell little hand towels with the chalk paste and chalk paste graphic on a stencil on a little hand towel. That would be fun. Okay, so now we're going to tape our stencil in place. Boom. Oh, don't you just love that stencil? It's just so pretty. I'm going to have to clean this one when I'm done with it. I'm going to have to actually clean this one. I want to keep it. I know, I'm terrible. I'm terrible at cleaning my stencils. Usually I just kind of let them dry up, and then when I'm ready to use it again, I just go over it. I'm terrible, terrible, terrible. I don't suggest that you do that. What's really good for cleaning stencils is a scrubby soap. Either a scrubby soap from Dixie Belle, or I get one of those grill cleaners. It's like I'll show you. People use them to clean their grills, but it's got like a Brillo pad on it. This is really good for cleaning your stencils also. All right, so we're going to tape down our stencil on our fabric. Make sure everything's taped down nice and secure. Don't want it shifting around, giving us a funky stencil. We don't want no funky stencil. We want a nice stencil. I guess we're going to go ahead and let's just start with Lark Green, okay? I didn't really grab any colors that really go with pink, so green it is. There we go. So, again, if you missed it earlier, if you're just hopping on, yes, Roz, this is a repeating stencil pattern. This is, I was meaning if you had a small stencil that didn't have, if you only had a small stencil, you would have to repeat the pattern. I don't know, maybe that's not what you're even talking about. So Lark Green, I know with pink, we'll see what happens, how it looks. At least you'll be able to see what it looks like with the contrast. So again, we're just going to scrape a little bit of product, start in the corner, and gently scrape it on. Now the velvet is a little bit different than, other upholstery fabrics, just because with the fibers being, so how velvet is, it kind of longer fibers. I know on carpets they call it the nap. I don't know if they call it that on fabric. But anyways, you may have to go over it one more time thinly after it kind of soaks into the velvet. So just keep an eye on that, and make sure you go back over it and look and make sure it's how you like it. If it soaks in, just go over it one more time real thin. So there we go. I love, love, love this stencil. I'm sorry, I know I keep saying that, but geez, it's like my fave. It's my fave. Okay, so let's fill in all of our little holes. Now, if I was doing something like a bench or something, bigger than my little vanity stool here, like this would be the perfect size for my vanity stool, because, the excess will fold underneath and get stapled and hidden. If I was doing something longer, like say a bench, piano bench or something, obviously you're going to want to lift your stencil and repeat, you know, the pattern, line it up next to it and repeat the pattern. But this is actually perfect size for my little vanity stool here. I'm just going to do a little bit more, like halfway. I'm not going to do the whole thing because I think you get the idea, right? I think you get the idea of what I'm doing here. And then I'll just show you what it looks like wrapped around the seat. How pretty it is and how easy it is to get a nice custom, you know, upholstery fabric. All right, let's go down here a little bit. Oh, I got hair in it. It's not my hair, that hair was brown. There we go. Okay, I just went halfway. You get the idea. Just scrape it on smooth. And then we want to lift it up gently. So I'm holding my fabric down so that, maybe you can't see where I'm holding. I'm holding my fabric down so that it doesn't come up with my stencil. You know, you kind of want to peel it away from the fabric. Up and away. Okay, up and away, up and away. There we go. And look how pretty that stencil is. Oh my gosh. See, that's why it's my favorite. It's so beautiful. So, so beautiful. I will tilt you down here a little bit so you can see. Yes, yes, they do dry permanent. You can wash them on, what did I say, delicate or gentle. I wouldn't wash them on, you know, super crazy mode, but, or you can wipe them with a damp cloth or mild detergent or soap. Is that pretty? So pretty. I love this. So, yeah, I obviously would have continued the whole stencil for my seat top, but, so let me show you. I have one that's already dry, so obviously you're going to want to wait for your upholstery fabric to dry before you use it. And I've got one already dry. I'll show you real quick. We'll just wrap it around the seat, call it a day. Move that. And, okay, so here is my stool seat, which I actually, I already have it covered in velvet, but I needed it for an example. So just your typical seat, chair seat, stool seat, whatever. Staple it to the bottom, then you put it back on your chair and screw that on with usually about 4 screws. So here's my, excuse me, here's my chalk pasted upholstery fabric that I did. Isn't that pretty? It kind of looks like a burnt out velvet almost, like a, I think, yeah, they call it burnout velvet, I think. But as you can see, I mean, it's still flexible. You know, it's not stiff, it's not hard. It's a little rubbery almost, okay? So it's very similar to like a silk screen, but a little thicker. So all I want to do then is take it and place it on my seat or bench cover or whatever you're covering with your upholstery fabric. Or maybe it's not even a seat at all, but mine is. So then I want to take it around, and I've got my staple gun where I would, you know, if you know anything about simple upholstery, you're going to want to just kind of, you know, tuck it underneath so there's not a whole lot of folds and wrinkles, make it nice and smooth. That's a whole nother tutorial there, but tuck it under, staple it, and then you've got seat cover with the chalk paste. Is that pretty? Pretty pattern. I forget the name of this stencil too. I know, I'm sorry. I'm worthless today. I don't remember the name of this stencil. I usually get rid of the packaging, so I don't know the name of it, but so that is our chalk pasted and or icing pasted upholstery fabric little video there. I'll show you what it looks like on the stool because it looks pretty, even though it's not. It's an example. I didn't obviously staple it yet, but see with the gold stool, wouldn't that look super cute if it was really done and stapled on there? So neat, huh? could do it on curtains. You could do it on a bedspread. You could do it on a throw pillow. You could do this on napkins, placemats, table runners, whatever, you know? You're bound only by your imagination. So there you go. And that's about it. So if anybody has any questions that didn't get answered, I'll go through and I'll check for those. I appreciate you all hanging out with me for a little bit and learning how to chalk paste or icing paste stencil your upholstery fabrics. So I will see you guys next Thursday at noon here in the Redesign with Prima Facebook group, and we'll learn some more things redesign. Bye.